Hi, I'm Mary Morgan Ryan,
And I'm Carolyn Skiba.
and we are here to give you some details about the 2016 round of If You Learned Here, our global collaboration and authoring project. So welcome to the 2016 If You Learned Here launch party. As you may know already, this project is based on a mentor text. The text is If You Lived Here, Houses of the World by Giles LaRoche. And the project really has two components to it. For the first 4 weeks, our schools from all over the world will be exploring our own learning communities and others' learning communities and sharing out that information. And then the second component is writing and publishing a global ebook together. So looking ahead, we wanted to briefly go over the structure of the program. So right now we are in week 0, which is teacher networking. All of our collaborating teachers have received information on how to do that. We're practicing with our tools and meeting each other online. Next, we'll move into the explore and share phase, which is 4 weeks of working with our students. Every week we will be posting new content and sharing with each other. Then we move into 3 weeks of writing and publishing our global ebook together, and we wrap up with celebrating and reflecting on the project together. So let's go into a little more detail about the project. So we have some basic project expectations, and of course you can go beyond if you wish. So let's walk through what the basics are. Every week, your school will post one response around a question around our theme, and our project expectation is that you and your students will spend between 1 and 2 hours per week on this project. So during the explore and share phase, each week, your school will post a video to Seesaw around the theme of the week.
And some of you may be noticing, if you're a returning participant, that we are now using a different tool for our video sharing. So we have switched to Seesaw for year 2 of If You Learned Here. And we've done this for a couple of reasons that we really think are going to enhance the project for everyone. And we're so excited to give this a try and get started. First, in Seesaw, you have the option to do a recording directly in Seesaw itself, just using the webcam or the built-in camera. But if you want to edit a little more or be able to film different segments at different times, you are able to import a video that you've created from another app. Another benefit of Seesaw is that you can comment on the videos, so you're adding an element of interactivity to the video sharing process. And finally, when you go to view the videos, you'll be able to sort them by cohort or by individual school and really navigate a little more effectively to the content you're most interested in. Now in Seesaw, we've created 2 Seesaw spaces. The first one, which everyone's using this week in week 0, is the teacher space. And then we have a second space, which is our global sharing space. And I'm going to share with you a little bit of detail about each of those, because I know it can get confusing to have the 2 separate areas. First, the teacher space. This is for our week 0, teacher introductions and comments on those introductions. We may use it throughout the project for other types of teacher-to-teacher sharing. And this is a space that's only visible to project teachers. This is really our place to try out these tools and connect with one another. The teacher space looks like this when you're in Seesaw, and you can identify that you're in the teacher space by the title at the top, which says If You Learned Here Teacher Space, or by looking at the icons for each individual person in this, which is a school really, in the teacher space. You can see on the icon it says the word teachers. So that's how you'll know when you're in the teacher space. Our second Seesaw space is the global sharing space. This is where you're going to be putting your weekly video posts. Now you're only going to be posting 1 video each week from your school. Part of our 1 to 2 hour commitment is really keeping the content manageable and making sure that everyone is also able to have an audience. And so we don't want to have hours and hours of content for people to go through. Also within the global sharing space, you'll be able, if you wish, to post 1 comment from your school on each video, again, to keep that back and forth manageable in the time frame that we've allotted. And the global sharing space content will be made public on the project website. So here's how the global sharing space looks. At the top it says If You Learned Here 2016 Global Sharing Space, and the icons do not have the word teachers. So that's how you'll know when you're in that space. And you can see that this has not yet populated, but soon this is going to be filled with videos from all around the world. You can go and explore and be able to see what other people have shared. You're going to access both of these spaces using QR codes. Each has its own QR code. Those will be sent to you via email. You've already received the teacher space QR code, and shortly we'll be sending out the global sharing space as we get ready for week 1 with students. It's important not to share those codes with students. The teacher space, of course, is private. The global sharing space, we're looking at that as the teacher being the moderator of sending the video content to the project. Then we'll take it and make it public on our public-facing website so that students can browse through and see all the same content without being in the same space for comments and things like that. We don't want to end up in a situation where a school may end up students may, in their excitement over seeing everybody's videos, find themselves posting a lot of comments and make the space very cluttered and difficult for the rest of us to navigate. So we're going to keep those spaces private to teachers. But again, the global content will be shared publicly, and that's how your students will take a look at that. So that's a quick overview of the Explore and Share phase. And within each week has its own theme. So these are the 4 themes, and shortly you'll be receiving an email about week 1, which is our schools and communities.
So after we've explored and shared, we're going to move into the write and publish phase. We will produce an ebook together using the iPad Book Creator app. And we're going to walk you through this whole process. We will send you a template and very clear instructions on what the content is that we're looking for your school to include on your pages of the ebook. And then you will mail us at the end of, after you've written and edited, you'll email us your book creator file, and we will put those together into a beautiful global ebook for us all to enjoy. And
I know, isn't it fun to see this again, Mary? You know, for people out there who haven't seen last year's book, just taking a look at these amazing illustrations and photographs from all around the world. I mean, it's really such a thrill to think about what we're all going to make together. It's just really fun to take a look and see what everyone was able to share. The creativity was really remarkable, and we just can't wait to go for round 2.
And seeing this reminds me also of Publication Day. We actually had a countdown for the release of our ebook last year, which was really exciting. So maybe we'll do that again this year. So after we've written and published our ebook, we'll move into a reflect and celebrate phase, which will be a wrap up and time for us all to reflect back on what we've done. Now that's the basics. That's what we're expecting of you as a participating school. However, you may have other things that you'd like to share with us, and so you may want to participate in some of the things in the Beyond section of our project. And so every week, as Carolyn shared, we'll have a theme. Our first theme is going to be our schools and community. And so each week we will have a variety of Padlet walls, online bulletin boards for you to use to share up to 3 responses from your school. And Padlets are wonderful because you can post an image or text or a link or a video, whatever you think the rest of us might be interested in, to give us a window into your learning community. We're working on ideas for continuing that interactive conversation during our write and publish phase. And we also will have a final reflection Padlet when the project is wrapped up, so we can all share parting wishes and thoughts about the project together.
So that's the overview of how the next 8 weeks are going to go. Just a quick word about cohorts. We do divide the project into different cohorts. We do this for a couple important reasons. The first is that we have many participants and everyone needs an audience. We want to make sure that if we have 50 videos out there, we don't have a handful of videos that end up languishing unviewed just because people don't have time in their busy classroom. We also want to make sure that this is only going to take 1 to 2 hours a week. We know how challenging it is to balance projects like this with the rest of your classroom commitments and schedules. So we really want to have you stick to that, that limit. And we also wanted to make sure that people were able to view projects with a reasonable geographic diversity. And so we've divided the schools accordingly across the cohorts. The way cohorts work is that when you post your video in Seesaw, it's going to go into your cohorts folder. We are asking you to watch and like all the videos that are in your cohort, so that again, if you're in the blue cohort, you know that that group of schools is going to see your content every week. You are certainly welcome to watch any of the other cohorts at any time and to learn from all the schools participating, but the basic expectation is that you and your cohort are there to support one another and view each other's content. Finally, if you want to comment, we're going to ask that you only leave one comment per video per school. Again, just because we want to keep the level of expectation manageable for everybody. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Mary. I was like, I'm sure Mary's going to tell us about staying connected because she is such a master of communications. You'll be hearing from both of us a lot on Twitter at this hashtag, If You Learned Here. So we invite all of you to jump in on that global conversation. If you are not a Twitter user, all you have to do is go to Twitter and search the hashtag, If You Learned Here, to see what other people are posting and to feel the excitement as we all connect with one another. Our public website, ifyoulearnedhere.weebly.com, is where you will find our blog, which is going to have some additional info and resources for you. It's also where we are going to make all of the content, the global sharing space content, public, so your students will be able to go there. And we'll be sending emails at least weekly just to help you have in one place where it is that, that you need to access your info and what's coming up next. If you have any questions for us at any time, please send an email to ifyoulearnedhere@gmail.com. We want to make sure that this project is really responsive to our participants and that we want you to know that we're here to support you on this really wonderful adventure, and we're happy you're here.
All right, thus concludes the 2016 launch party for If You Learned Here. Carolyn and I can't wait to get started with students, and we're really looking forward to seeing the content that you all create. So long, everybody.
All right, see you soon.